You found the WMIX Saturday Sports Show on AM 940 and WMIXSports.com. Cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. The Saturday Sports Show has been recognized by the Illinois Broadcasters Association as one of the top radio programs in the state. That means the very best mix of local sports content is right here. From the powerhouse on Broadway, the Saturday Sports Show starts now.
Here we are back in the studios of WMIX, powerhouse on Broadway. So glad to be with you for the Saturday Sports Show. A beautiful Saturday morning here in the King City as we look upon our window on Mount Vernon. Beautiful day in store for us. Of course, that is set to change in a hurry going into tomorrow, of course, with some precip and possibly some thunderstorms. All of that aside, good luck, of course, for those getting their events in today. But a lot going on in the world of local sports right now. Of course, we'll have a big lineup for you today as we talk to some outgoing coaches. We talk to some incoming coaches. I got that right finally. Should be a pretty big day here on the Saturday Sports. Of course, we'll talk Mount Vernon Rams baseball with Tim Holloway. Lance Bolt of Lady Rams softball will stop by. They have a big tournament today at West Frankfort. They'll play Pinckneyville in Hamilton County, I believe. Scott Gamber, we'll talk with him about junior varsity Rams baseball. Of course, we will also talk. Obviously, the elephant in the room there would be that Scott announced his resignation this week. It was accepted by the MVTHS Board of Education. So we'll talk with Scott about his years at the helm of Mount Vernon Rams basketball as well. Mark Albertini, of course, hired last week as the head coach of Carbondale football. We'll talk with Michael McKee, the Mount Vernon native who was hired as the new head coach down at Stesterville, Waltonville, and Woodlawn. We'll talk with Rod Schertz, of course, Benton Rangers, running Rangers track and field. Norm Sanders of the Belleville News-Democrat. I'm sure we'll talk some Metro East baseball, but we all know the real reason today. We'll talk St. Louis Blues hockey with Norm Sanders of the Belleville News-Democrat. And a friend of the program who is changing jobs will be Russ Gerlach. He is, of course, going to Edwards County. He'll be the new head coach of Lions basketball, leaving Wayne City, of course. So we'll talk about all that and more on the Saturday Sports Show today. Almost impossible to fit everything that's happened in the past couple of weeks into one 2-hour program, but there has been so much go down with coaching changes, coaching hires, even some IHSA rule changes in the sport of football that we'll touch on later. Not going to touch on it necessarily here today, but touch on it later. So many changes in the world of local sports going on right now. We're going to do the best we can to run down each and every one of those over the next few weeks because so much has happened, it seems like, just over these past couple of weeks. I don't know about you, but, you think of the football changes, you think of the local coaching changes, DC, you think of everything that's going on right now. And this is actually where it starts to pick up for a little bit before things start to cool off at the beginning of June.
Well, also another thing we need to throw out there as well is Brian Gamber will resign, and he will move on to Woodlawn High School to accept a new teaching position. So he will leave Waltonville. They will be without. They need to find a boys basketball coach. Also, Eric Widges, the athletic director at Waltonville, is also on the move to take an administrative position elsewhere. So Waltonville will need an AD as well as a boys basketball coach. The IHSA voted on having no contact, no pads, no nothing during the summer for football. That's probably going to pass. Another thing is, and this is, obviously not information for the public yet, but all the postseason sites for basketball I've seen for boys. Not sure about girls yet or not, but I know boys is out for the next 3 years for regionals and sectionals. So having seen that, it's a very interesting division of things, especially if teams that are hosting go up, go down in class-wise. But, in the last couple weeks, since we were last on, of course, last week we were doing area Mount Vernon Rams baseball. Carbondale hired a football coach. Stesterville, Waltonville, Woodlawn hired a football coach. Edwards County hired a basketball coach. Mount Vernon's looking for a boys basketball coach. Waltonville's going to be looking, for a boys coach and AD. It's been crazy for the last couple of weeks. It's just been a rarity, especially in this day and age of the economy and money in schools, to have so much change going on without, with everything going on as it is. Usually it's not this crazy in April.
Well, no, past month has been interesting in Edwards County. You vote to go in. You're voted and accepted into a new conference in the Black Diamond. You hire, I believe the pecking order actually went. Russ Gerlach was hired as basketball, and in either same meeting or there soon after, Doug Horton, a local insurance agent in town, was named their football coach. I believe he was a star in high school there, but then went on to help with the program at one time. And so you look at that, and so Edwards County's been busy. Waltonville's going to get busy.
Oh yeah,
with their openings.
Spots. Yeah.
And we'll talk with Brian Gamber when we're kind of going in order of as things happen. Brian kind of happened after Scott and after Russ Gerlach, but we'll talk with Brian Gamber about that as well. And the move that he is making, and I don't want to upset. That's probably in the interest of things not a bad move career-wise. We'll talk about that with him, but it's one of those where, it's going to be a struggle, I think, but at the same time, I look forward to what's to come in Waltonville. A great opportunity awaits somebody to go to guide the Waltonville Spartans with an AD opening. Maybe that's something maybe you could combine. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for them, but I certainly like where they could head after this as well. So it could benefit both sides in the deal is what I'm getting at.
Half the county is available. Waltonville and Mount Vernon both have boys coaching jobs. Mount Vernon's will be interesting. Pretty big shoes to fill after Scott Gamber's run. I mean, he had a good run as far as winning games, winning over 100-plus games in his career. Obviously, it may or may not be over, but that's a good run. That's not going to be easy to fill following him, who did pretty good job, not only, it's varsity level winning games. So that's a tough job to fill.
Well, ridiculous expectations at times, and way too tough of expectations given the situation. And, there's people that often maybe get not enough credit in the coaching ranks, and Scott is probably one of those. And definitely a guy that when you talk to opposing coaches in the conference, got a lot of credit. And so did a great job at Mount Vernon Township High School, and this year continuing on with junior varsity baseball, and I believe 6 years, been doing it for 7. So 6 years Scott has been at the helm, over 100 wins, and I think it's overshadowed sometimes by the expectations, how lofty they are, but did a great job.
Yep.
So
not a lot of turnover in Mount Vernon basketball either.
No.
Not a lot of turnover. Waltonville's going to be going for 6 coaches in 15 years once they make this next hire. So, that's going on, and then you have, half the county, and it'll be interesting because as we have learned with football, if we've learned anything with the hirings lately, Carbondale hired in-house, Cessna-Valera, Waltonville, Woodlawn hired in-house. I mean, there's not, Edwards County had to hire in-house. You just don't have the option in this day and age of high school monies and whatnot to create positions and do whatever to get people in. So you're going to see a lot of in-house stuff unless you have a teaching position to go along with coaching. That's where your perfect scenario fits now.
It is a good time to be a coach that teaches something other than PE or driver's ed. If you can teach math, if you can teach English or maybe a science, things are probably going to end up fairly well for you right now. It's just tough with a lot of these cuts, and things aren't like they were 10 years ago, where you can just kind of create a position out of thin air to bring in the guy you want or gal you want.
If you're a coach and you've got tenure and you're at a school and you've been there for a while and this next position opens up and you move, then you go from middle top to middle bottom, and if cuts start happening at the new school, you're going to be one of those. I mean, you got to factor in all that as well. So, all that goes into it, and I think that's why you see a lot of schools starting to hire within as far as things go. Pinckneyville football last year hired within. So, I mean, you go back to see what's been hired lately, and a lot of people are going within the system because you just can't create positions and get who you want anymore.
Yeah. Curious to see what happens with Mount Vernon Rams basketball. We'll keep you up to date here on WMIX. Saturday Sports Show, of course, is presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
We need to talk Mount Vernon Rams baseball. We'll take a break, come back with Rams baseball coach Tim Holloway. This is a Saturday Sports Show from WMIX Sports.
The health of your kidneys has a big impact on your overall health, affecting everything from your blood pressure to your bones. And if you ever have a kidney problem, Dr. Kangura is here to help. Dr. Kangura trained at the Mayo Clinic and specializes in conditions ranging from kidney stones and uncontrolled high blood pressure to chronic kidney disease. Dr. Kangura sees patients at Crossroads Specialty Clinic. For an appointment, call 618-241-9071.
More Americans are on the move today than ever before. One of the most popular modes of transportation is the motorcycle. Motorcycles take us to our jobs, school, to the beach, and all around the country. If you're a bike rider, your Pekin Insurance Agency, Page Insurance on Crownview in Mount Vernon, wants to make sure you have the best insurance protection while you're riding. Ask about the money-saving auto cycle discount and the experienced driver discount, too. Call Page Insurance at 242-7000 today about motorcycle insurance from Pekin Insurance.
Qualifications and rules apply. See institution for details.
Hi, I saw your ad for a checking account that earns interest on my money.
Oh, yes, that's our plutonium account, and it requires $50,000 to open.
What? How am I supposed to grow my money when I can't even afford to open the account?
Introducing Kasasa, free checking, where even the smallest balance earns high yields, plus refunds on ATM fees nationwide. Try Kasasa.com. Kasasa.
Kasasa is carried locally at People's National Bank or online at peoplesnationalbank.com. Member FDIC.
The Chevrolet Open House event is going on now at Schmidt Chevrolet of Mount Vernon. Come see the finest American engineered and manufactured lineup of great vehicles, which come with free maintenance for 2 years or 24,000 miles, 336 bumper-to-bumper, and 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Toyota, Ford, and Chrysler can't touch this. Come to Schmidt Chevrolet of Mount Vernon, 3423 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
And welcome back, WMIX and WMIXsports.com. Saturday Sports Show cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Our next guest is Mount Vernon Rams, or our first guest even, is Mount Vernon Rams baseball coach Tim Holloway. Tim, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
You know, past 7 days been pretty good to Mount Vernon Rams baseball. 3-1 since last Saturday. Big win over Henderson County, Kentucky. To salvage the swing in Paducah. A great conference win on the road on Tuesday against the Centralia Orphans. Another road win on Wednesday against the Central Cougars before the game at Althoff, of course, here on Thursday. But a 3-1 swing over the past 7 days for Rams baseball. Pretty good week.
Pretty good week. You know, you hate to lose those conference games. We haven't been in that position in a while, but that's the way it goes. Althoff did a better job than us. We've struggled with two-out hitting at times. But overall, we had a good week. We beat some good teams. We handled some adversity well, and I feel like we're getting better.
Well, and of course, talking about getting better, it just seems like there's been a bit of a rhythm found. And until Thursday, it seemed like that rhythm in the offensive portion of the lineup was starting to get a little bit stronger. Especially, I thought lately, a lot of production coming from that bottom of the Ram order. Some nice adjustments made, some kids have reacted, and it ended up in a few wins.
Yeah, they've done fine. You know, the main thing is getting on base. And, you know, there's a lot of factors that, you know, maybe that some of the casual fans don't see that goes into matchups and things like that. But overall, I think the guys that have been plugged in there have battled at the plate, and that's what you ask for. I mean, right now we've got to find a way on base, and I feel like our on base is good. We're starting to hit better. It's going to come down to the two-out hit. There are things that we can do with one out, runner on third, to help guys get in first and third situations. But when it's second, third, two outs, you know, it's time. You've got to get a hit. That's it. You've got to battle. You've got to find a way. And once we get that down, then, you know, we're going to be an even better team.
As we roll into May next week, as we're a little late April, tough games next week, Alton on Monday, Heron on Wednesday, Marion Thursday. You look at your team and everything else. You obviously knew with the guys like Pike, Fulkerson, Weber, they've been in a fire. How much growth have you been surprised at the growth of your team at this point, and how much more growth is there for the rest of the season as it goes along?
Well, that's a good question, and I feel like we've gotten a lot better. If you look at us a month ago in late March, we're a much better team right now. And what I'm hoping for is we continue that growth. And when you look at us in May, when it comes regional time late in the month, you know, I feel like we're going to continue to grow. So, you know, that's the fun part of coaching a team with a lot of new guys. But, you know, it's up to us. You know, some teams get stagnant. You see it happen, and they're happy with where they are. Or you can be a team that continues to improve every day and willing to pay the price and do the little things in practice and that's just the way it goes. There's no such thing as a free lunch. If you don't do the work and you don't have focus in practice, and you don't have focus when you come through that gate on game day, you're not going to get better. But I feel like this team does. I like the way they compete. We're just one or two things away from being a tough little scrappy team to beat.
Well, and Rams baseball always tough, and do some things that I like as far as team building, and one of those was last week getting to go to Paducah to play 3 games and get to stay overnight. Do you feel that has benefited the team as far as like team building and bondsmanship?
Yes, it was a good weekend for us. You play some good teams, and I understand some people don't want to do that, but I feel like it makes you better. You see what's out there. You can learn from some of those guys, some of those teams, and being able to spend some time together that weekend and go through some adversity and be together that night, eat, the guys stay together, and come out the next day and really play well and end it on a good note was a really good ending to it. So I think it showed this week. We were in a tough ball game, at Centralia, and I didn't see any nerves from our guys, and that's probably the most beneficial thing you get out of playing teams like that is you've played good teams before, you've been there, you know what it's like in those situations, and you should feel comfortable and embrace the adversity and the competition, and hopefully that pays off for us.
I think a couple of things last weekend we saw, touch on this, is your team got to play in a couple very nice venues last week. One was the new baseball field at McCracken County High School, and then, of course, historic Brooks Stadium in Paducah. Talk about your team, and did your team realize what kind of venues they were playing in, or is it just another game for the young guys?
No, I think they enjoyed it. You guys, thinking back as a kid playing ball, and you get to play somewhere like that, it's always neat. So it makes you feel good, and that Brooks Stadium was beautiful. I had been there before, but it was even better than I had remembered. The grass was perfect, and plus the weather was just excellent for baseball. And I think those guys will remember that, and they've got a lot to look forward to. There's some excitement with the Busch Stadium game coming up, and then they get to turn around the next day and play at SIU's new facility, which I heard is just a beautiful place to play. And then or their updates, and then we got GCS Monday. So, they're kind of I wouldn't say spoiled, but they're getting to do a lot of neat things in their high school career, and I think they appreciate that.
Speaking of spoiled, were you concerned last week with some of the shopping habits when you turned them loose on the mall last week in Paducah?
Well, I don't know what all was bought, but I know we've got a lot of hunters and fishermen, and I saw some Columbia stuff and this and that. They like the Gander Mountain. That's their type of thing. So, if they do a lot of shopping, then I need to get their jobs. They've got more money than I do.
I agree. You and I both. And you turn the page this week. You play 4A Alton Monday. Then you have Heron Wednesday, which is a regional game, and then Thursday at Marion. Kind of a tough week. You get to play at GCS. Alton's always a good opponent, but those Wednesday, Thursday games are highly important as far as not only conference race but regional as well.
Right. If you look at our regional, we played Centralia. We were able to win that one. Able to win a tough game with Carbondale, and the two teams left are Heron and Marion. Marion got us early. Maybe if we can get them here this time, that will help our cause. And then Heron is the other team. So there will not be another conference game after this week before the seeding deadline. It's a big week for us. It seems like we say that every week, but it is a big week, and nothing will come easy.
Well, it certainly seems like nothing ever does come easy in the world of high school baseball. And, of course, talking about the busy week coming up and revisiting now the fact that Mount Vernon gets to host the regional in 2013 after 5 years. We've talked about it periodically throughout the season. Getting to host it at home and knowing the successes that the Rams baseball has at home, do you feel a lot better now and knowing that you'll play the postseason, you'll start the postseason at home?
Yes, I think anyone would rather have the postseason at home. Our guys are familiar with the field, and they play with a lot of confidence there, and they have some pride in protecting their home turf. And it's going to be a tough regional because I feel like all those teams are up this year. So nothing that will be easy. There's no doubt about that. But it is hopefully an edge for us that will, give us a shot at it. And it's going to come down to, as always, your 1 and 2 on the mound and defense and 2-out timely hitting. And that's where we really hope to improve this next month. We're going to try to really put an emphasis on that. And it's a tough thing to do, but I think that we're just 1 or 2 of those things away from being able to compete for that regional title.
Hi, we have an easy question for you this week to end this baby up, okay? And I know you can answer this.
Bring it.
Okay. What was the last movie you watched?
That is an easy one. And the last movie I watched was 42.
That's a good one. I saw that in the theater. That's a really good movie.
I couldn't tell you when it was. I don't know if it was winter, whenever it came out. Who knows? I forgot since then. But anyway, that was a good movie, and I believe that's the last one I saw.
Perfect. See, we had a feeling this one would be a little bit easier.
Yeah, because there's not many I get to see. So they'll stick out.
Coach, busy week coming up. Hopefully we will see you on Monday night at GCS Ballpark.
All right, guys. Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. Tim Holloway, Mount Vernon Rams baseball coach. GCS this week, of course, within a week span, Busch Stadium. And then
SIU.
Itchy Jones coming up. We
it's
get
not
to
like
broadcast.
The Rams don't play in a lot of bad parks.
No.
Between the conference and the sites that are coming are, Paducah, and then, of course, St. Louis, GCS, SIU. That's a pretty good run. These guys are getting a little spoiled. They need to – maybe we may need to toughen them up a little bit on our way to during games and stuff.
We try. We do what we can. We need to go to our next guest, Lance Bolt, head coach of Lady Rams softball. We'll take a quick break in between. Saturday Sports Show cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Whether it's Mother Nature's inability to decide on a season, a weekend that got a little out of hand, or just life, there's always something looking to damage your vehicle. This is Chase Landers from Landers Collision Centers. Maybe winter weather turned your full-size sedan into a compact, or a little hail has your truck looking like Swiss cheese. Perhaps a deer decided to go for a ride on your hood, or maybe your truck is missing its hitch and bumper after pulling your little brother out of the ditch last weekend. Did a bad breakup leave a little graffiti on your SUV? We hope not, but we've seen it all, and we certainly don't judge. Whatever mess life has created for your vehicle, we'll clean it up. As a direct repair facility for many insurance companies, we take care of just about everything, even getting you into a temporary vehicle while we restore yours. That's the Landers difference. Top to bottom, big or small, Landers fixes them all. Come see us in Mount Vernon and Salem and ask us about free detailing for the life of your vehicle. Or call 1-888-LANDERS. That's 1-888-LANDERS.
Your spine is a miracle of engineering, so when pain strikes, your body is telling you to get help fast. The Orthopedic Center of Southern Illinois is proud to feature their spine care team. Doctors Kowalski and Smith, the professionals at Orthopedic Center, specialize in back and neck pain. So put our spine care team on the job. Find out more online at orthocenter-si.com. Stop the pain, fix the problem, and enjoy life again. The Orthopedic Center of Southern Illinois.
Hi, this is Joe David Cummins, President of Community First Bank. By now you have heard about our new One Checking product. The new One Account is a high interest earning, free checking account designed for everyone. Unlike other banks that pay interest on higher balance, this account pays interest on all balances. From high schoolers to Warren Buffett, One will work for you. You can talk to one of us at 244-3000 and learn about the details. One, exclusively at Community First Bank. You will be one happy customer. Member FDIC.
And we welcome you back. Saturday Sports Show, WMIX and WMIXSports.com is presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Glad to have you with us this morning. WMIX Mount Vernon, bottom of the 8 o'clock hours. We welcome Lady Rams softball coach Lance Bolt to the program. Coach, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
I'm starting to feel like we're a little bit of a jinx. Since the last time we've talked to you, you've won 3 out of the last 5 games. Is it something we're doing wrong, or have you just gotten it figured out?
Well, I don't want to give you guys most of the credit. I think, it's been good talking to you, and I think that just lifts everybody's spirits, But, yeah, we're definitely playing. We're playing better. And, offensively, I feel like we're doing really well. We got some girls who are hitting the ball well right now, up and down the order. Hannah Wright just keeps driving the ball. Rachel Wright, Mallory Garner, Anna Carbonaro. You know, they're all hitting it well. Lexa Stewart. But, you know, it also helps that Hannah Wright's back pitching like her old self. You know, she's healthy again, and we're not walking people. We're not giving those free passes. That's definitely helping, too. But we still got to work defensively. We're still making too many errors, and that hurt us this past week against Centralia. So that's something we have to get better at.
But up and down your schedule, ever since a tough loss against Carbondale at home, you blank Althoff, you blank Cahokia, but Nashville, you lose 6-1. And Nashville has absolutely throttled some teams up and down their schedule this year. But you talk about that Centralia game, up 6-4 at one point. You end up losing 10-7. Pretty impressive performance nonetheless. I know you got a home run out of Mallory Garner, got some big hitting along the way in that one. A walk-off single from Rachel Wright against Althoff on Thursday. But it really seems like that offense is starting to come together. And you're 4-9 now, but you take away those first 4 games of the season. Pretty good year going right now for Lady Rams softball.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'd love to have those first few games back, and with a healthy Hannah and, you know, different situations, you know, just being different. But, yeah, we're playing a lot better now. The Centralia game hurt because we played so well for 5.5 innings, and when Mallory hit that 2-run shot, it just, you know, our spirits were so high, we're feeling great. And then we just had one of those meltdown innings in the field defensively, and, you know, I can't put a finger on it necessarily. We worked so hard at practice at going over these things defensively, and sometimes there are things, you know, that you wouldn't even think about going over. It's just, you know, things that you would think that they would have known or picked up when they were 6, 7, 8 years old. But they, you know, they're all learning experiences. We're learning from them, and I really applaud the girls for working hard. And, you know, they work as hard as anybody. They come to practice every day. We work 2.5 hours every day, and they're just a great group of girls to be around. But yeah, I feel good about things, and you know, it's amazing because I think we are out hitting our opponents on the season, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're scoring more runs. You know, when we have twice as many errors as our opponents, that hurts some things. So that we got to get better defensively.
Of course, from your win on Thursday against Althoff, you go into this tournament today at West Frankfort. What's on the agenda, and who are you playing today in Frankfort?
The tournament's changed a little bit. Yesterday we got a new bracket, but we're playing Crab Orchard first, and then we play Pinckneyville, and then it's pool play, so we'll play, you know, the other side in that third game. But it starts with Crab Orchard at 10 o'clock. We take a game off, and then we play Pinckneyville. And I don't know a lot about Crab Orchard. I know Pinckneyville's pretty solid. They beat up on DuQuoin. You know, they're a good program. So we're going to have to work hard today. I definitely want to come out of West Frankfort today with a win or two and maybe 3. So, you know, it's a beautiful day. Couldn't ask for a better day to play. And I know the girls are excited. We're on the bus right now heading down there. They're excited to play. So, but it starts off with Crab Orchard.
A busy week next week. After you get this, you know, you turn around, you have Salem at Salem Monday, and you have host Marion Tuesday, and then Wednesday at Murphy, back to Marion at Marion on Thursday. That's a very busy week, starting with today, heading into next Thursday if the weather holds out. Yeah, absolutely. Next week's, I really hope the weather holds out, but we know we can't control that. But you know, Salem, they've got some quality wins on the season. I know that they don't have some of the numbers they've had in the past, but they've got some wins. And of course, Marion's really tough. We play them twice in 3 days, so that'll be a big game, a couple big games for us in the conference. But hopefully we can get those games in, because I don't want to keep pushing back some of these conference games and have them late in the season. As we keep going through the season, our schedule gets busier and busier. So hopefully we can get those in. Well, and of course, talk a little bit about the JV, and because we're going to talk JV baseball today as well, but want to talk a little bit about JV softball. I know they have the DuQuoin tournament coming up, I believe next Saturday it is, as far as their JV tournament. Had a JV tournament a couple of weeks ago. How is your junior varsity doing this year? They're doing a good job. Coach Shelf is the JV coach. He's doing a good job with them. You know, it's hard when you're JV because you don't know exactly what players you're going to get on a certain day, but the JV record right now, I believe, is 4-5, and
they're doing a good job. You know, they don't get a lot of games in. We're hoping to get about 15 games before the season's over with them. But we got some solid young freshmen who get varsity experience, but they're also getting some JV experience, and they're, you know, like Bria Meyer, Lauren Heinzman, Jordan Bauer. You know, we got some good solid freshmen. Mackenzie McCalreth, you know, they're good players, and it's been good for them. And Coach Shelf's done a great job leading them. It's so hard though, because you don't know on a given day what players you're going to get, but they come to work every day and practice hard, and they play hard, and they're a fun team to watch. They beat Nashville, I believe it was 14-5 this past Saturday. Beat up on them in a JV game, and I'm proud of them.
Final question for you is an easy one as you head down to West Frankfort, and this week's social media question is, what was the last movie you watched?
The last movie I watched? Well, my wife and I sat down. We don't go to the movies like maybe 2 or 3 times a year, so but we did sit down and watch Hunger Games like 6 months ago on DVD. Man, we haven't been to the movies in a while, but I usually sit down and watch a ball game or something, you know, and she does too. That's what I love about my wife. We sit down and watch ball games together, so
nice.
Not a whole lot of movies. Sorry, man. Sorry, not a better answer.
No. Any answer's fine. Doesn't matter if it's DVD. Doesn't matter if it's on TV somewhere like a random. It's all good. But wishing the best of luck today in the West Frankfort tournament, of course, for Lady Rams softball, and certainly hoping you bring back 2 or 3 wins.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Lance Bolt, head coach, Lady Rams softball, great dude. And Hunger Games, his answer. Tim Holloway, of course, 42. We'll have our answers a little bit later on. WMIX Sports Social Media Question of the Week. What is the movie you've last watched? Doesn't have to be in the theater. You don't have to go to the theater and watch a movie. You can catch some horrible flick at 3 o'clock in the morning on a local affiliate or something, especially an independent back in the day.
Welcome into Lady Rams softball players listening to the Saturday Sports Show and Coach Bolt.
Nice.
As well on their way to West Frankfort.
Well, that's the cool thing about their season right now. You throw in a close game against Olney, 9-8, and they're in, I believe, Game 4. But you take away that, 4-5 against some pretty good teams. Nashville, of course, they've throttled some teams up and down, winning by 10 or more. 6-1 against Holzhauer, nothing to hang your head about. You take a look at the rest of the season at that point. Probably could have beaten Centralia, but you're looking at the reigning back-to-back conference champs. Pretty good performance there. Things look like they're on the up and up for Lady Rams softball. We will see them, WMIX Sports, the entity, on Tuesday. That'll be against Marion at home, 4:15 pregame. 4:30 first pitch, WMIX and WMIXsports.com, which is where we'll be after a quick break here on the Saturday Sports Show, presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
That's what healthcare should be.
New Carbondale football coach Mark Albertini coming after the break. We're back after this.
A digestive problem can affect every area of your life. But now there's a specialist right here in town who focuses on digestive health. Mayo Clinic trained Dr. Tegpaul Atwal has opened the only gastroenterology clinic in Mount Vernon. Dr. Atwal treats acid reflux, gallbladder problems, inflammatory bowel disease, ulcers, and more. For your appointment with Dr. Atwal at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 618-241-9071.
Raise your hand if you're tired of showing up for a service appointment only to sit around a waiting room. Hi, Roy Schmidt, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram dealer at King City Chrysler Center. Our express lane fast oil changes and more provide quick, convenient service with no appointment needed. Our specialists are on hand to wait on you with lanes dedicated just for your oil changes, tire rotation, brake inspections, batteries, bulbs, wiper blades, air filter replacements, and more. We will also perform complimentary vehicle inspection with every oil change. We work around your schedule, open weekdays from 7:30 until 5 and Saturdays from 8 a.m. until noon. See Express Lane Fast Oil Changes and more for all of your service needs, and we will get you back on the road quick. We're located at King City Chrysler Center at 1603 Broadway in Mount Vernon, Illinois. Just another reason you can count on us.
Welcome back, Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. Our next guest is actually JV baseball coach for Mount Vernon, Scott Gamber. Coach, good morning.
Morning. How are you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. Of course, talking JV baseball, obviously the elephant in the room can wait for a little bit, but over the past few years, the JV Rams have given the varsity Rams quite a bit of talent. There's no denying that. Of course, my curiosity kind of exists in the fact that there's quite a few sophomores starting right now for Tim Holloway at the varsity level. Are you playing mostly freshmen, or do you still have some sophomores and juniors left down there?
We are. I mean, Coach Holloway always he does not have juniors play JV, so we're always just freshmen and sophomores. But yeah, this year, this is my 5th year doing it, and this is the first year where we have very few sophomores. We just have 4 sophomores on our JV team, and one of those sophomores did not play as a freshman. So really only 3 returning players back. And that's one thing that's really stood out about this year is how proud we've been of our sophomores. Because when you have a class where a lot of kids have gotten moved up, it would be very easy for the sophomores that are playing JV to kind of be down about it or pout about it or whatever. But our sophomores have really worked their butts off this year. They are great role models for the freshmen. I think since we've been doing it, and then this year included, the best thing for our freshmen is to watch the sophomores, see how they do it, and the sophomores we have this year are unbelievable about that.
Hey, talk about your record, talk about your season, and what's been going on with your team.
Yeah, I don't know our exact record. I think we're 4 or 5 games over 500. The thing, I think our kids are starting to get a lot better. We did have a typical JV week this week. Tuesday and Wednesday, I thought, were by far the best that we've played all year. As far as our warm-ups were sharp, our kids were hustling all over the place. Our base running was really good. We were throwing strikes, no errors, just everything. I thought, man, we were really starting to get it. And then Thursday was probably the worst we've played all year, and we made 6 or 7 errors. We struggled the entire game to find the strike zone. We made 4 or 5 really bad base running errors that cost us. And so I think that's part of JV baseball, and we are really, really lucky at the JV level to have Denny Clark on staff, because Denny so good at teaching the kids everything from swing, fielding, base running, and what he's so good about is, like on Thursday when we make all these mistakes in the field and on the base paths, I'm ready to go crazy. And after the game, Denny's real positive about the week that we've had, and really did a great job of pointing out the mistakes we made, but we're getting better at them, and he has a way about correcting the kids without getting on them, and we're real lucky to have him. I think that's another reason we've gotten so much better this year from the start to now.
Well, things certainly, Denny Clark, a very valuable asset, of course, no secret there for JV Rams baseball. But elephant in the room time. Obviously, this week you announced your resignation as the head basketball coach at Mount Vernon Township High School. I know a move based on multiple things, especially the fact getting ready to have a child, and thought process behind that. I mean, what was your feeling going into announcing your resignation?
Yeah, I'd been thinking about it since season ended, and even kind of the tail end of the season. And I really wanted to let some time go by to make sure that I wasn't just doing it on emotion. And spring break was really nice to kind of get away from school and really get away from basketball and have a little more time to think. And it's a unique situation in that I have nothing but positives looking back on it. And there, I have great administration with superintendent and principal. I have both principals, Ron Daniels and Wes Olson, have been great. Terry Mill and now Dr. Smith have been great. And then I obviously have a athletic director that I'm very close to, and shields a lot of things. So I had a good situation, but with getting ready to be a father and wanting to spend more time at home, the time is a big part of it. Don't get me wrong. The time is huge. But even more than that, it's just the drain and the change in me during season. I didn't want to bring that stuff home early on, in being a father, because it's not just the time commitment. The time commitment, I think you could deal with, but it's you get home and you're not done. You're watching film. You're thinking about it. You have a loss. You're not sleeping. Then you're cranky, and then you're in a bad mood all the time. And I just did not want to have that, especially when Jessica and I have been excited about having a kid for a while, and it's getting ready to happen. And I just wanted those first years to not be like that. So to be able to be home and to be mainly in a good frame of mind.
So I got to ask, how many cut-off sleeve hoodie sweatshirts are there bought for this child already?
There needs to be a bunch. We have no Patriots gear yet. We're going to have to get on that.
Hey, they've got lots, trust me. I've had to do some shopping on that website. The latest purchase I had to get for my sister for her birthday was an autographed Pat Patriot poster. There's plenty of stuff on there.
I'm sure there is.
Final question, though, I know you can answer, even though you've been busy with everything going on. This week's social media question is, what was the last movie you watched?
We have not gotten to see many movies lately. Trying to remember what's the last movie. Oh yeah, my wife just yelled at me. We watched Frozen on Tuesday night, so Frozen is the last movie that I watched.
If she wants to answer, she can go to Facebook and answer too. We don't just need your answer.
Already getting ready for the kid, huh? Watching Frozen?
That's right.
Nice. Scott, we appreciate the time that you've given us every week for the past 6 years during basketball season, and certainly know that this probably not the last we'll see of you, obviously hoping to stay in coaching, and wish you the best of luck in future endeavors, whether that be someday getting this position back or whatever comes your way, but we wish you the best of luck, and thank you for your years of service and how great you've been to us.
Hey, thank you guys. I really appreciate everything. You guys are great. Especially the thing that really stands out is on Saturday mornings after tough Friday night losses, how gracious you guys are and how you could easily press questions of things that were done the night before, and you don't. You always make the interview so easy and good. So I really appreciate that.
Scott, always a pleasure. Hopefully someday we get to do it again.
All right, sounds great. Thank you, guys.
That's Scott Gamber, JV baseball coach, Mount Vernon Rams baseball, of course. Glad to have him this morning and talk about that tough resignation. But there will be a new Mount Vernon Rams basketball coach coming up next winter, and hopefully an announcement will be made soon when they find their man, whomever that may be, guiding the basketball program at Mount Vernon Township High School, district number 201. So glad to have you with us this morning on the Saturday Sports Show. We have another hour, 10 minutes coming your way. Our next guest, I promise this time, pardon the mistake, will be Mark Albertini, the new head coach of Carbondale football.
Yeah.
For sure this time.
For sure.
Okay.
I gave you the list. I set this thing up and I gave you the list.
I
what
wrote
else
the
can
list
I do?
myself and had 8:50, and my clock was only a couple of minutes off, but still no excuse for that. But it was good to talk to Scott, and we appreciate all that he has done for us. We'll take that break, come back. This is the Saturday Sports Show cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
I'm Jeremy Pearson with a look at your next rad weather. It will be partly to mostly sunny, pleasant, and warmer today, high 79. We'll see some clouds tonight, low 53 to 57. Breezy tomorrow with variable cloudiness and a shower thunderstorm in the afternoon, high 79. And thunderstorms will be around tomorrow night into Monday with variable cloudiness. Low tomorrow night 62, high Monday 81. Next rad weather from WMIX, Mount Vernon, Illinois.
Registration for summer classes at Rendlake College is going on now. The 8-week summer term is a great chance to catch up on classes you need, from general education to electives and more. Curious about starting college or even a little nervous? Summer is a good time for new students to find out what Rendlake College can do for you. Registration for summer classes continues through June 6th. Call us at 618-437-5321 or find us online at rlc.edu. Rendlake College, your journey starts here.
Mount Vernon is home to many wonderful people and things, and that includes quality cardiac care from Dr. Ruzaik Ibrahim. A skilled cardiologist, Dr. Ibrahim's training and scientific accomplishments have earned his designation as a Fellow of the American College of Cardiology. His services range from preventative care to the treatment of advanced heart conditions. For an appointment with Dr. Ibrahim at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 241-9071 or visit in person at 4113 South Water Tower, Mount Vernon.
Welcome back, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. Saturday Sports Show is cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
That's Danny Zerwinski. I'm Chris Hugo. Jeff Crow is in studio with us as well, as we welcome to the program for the first time the new head coach for Carbondale football, Mark Albertini. Coach, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty well, and of course, I imagine right now you're doing pretty well yourself. 10 years as an assistant for Carbondale football, you finally get to take over and do things your way. I imagine you feel pretty good at this moment.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this opportunity. I've been, like you said, part of the program for 10 years now. I've watched these kids grow up, and I'm excited to finally get the chance to be the head coach.
Coach, I got to ask this. As a kid growing up in Murfreesboro, playing for the Red Devils in the playoffs, did you ever think that you would cross the county, change sides, and be the head coach at Carbondale High School in your young life as it began?
No, I did. It's funny how that works out. That's the big rivalry game. I grew up watching my brother play against, like Seth Smith, guys like that, and Mel Berry, and I just remember those guys from Carbondale and just how great of a program that was. And I never thought I would, but I tell you what, it feels great to be a Terrier. It really does.
You take over, of course. You've got 10 years in the system, so you know how the system works, the school works. You're around the kids all day. What are the benefits of being a coach that's in the school all day, being around the kids like you are, as far as helping out your football program?
Well, times are getting tough here. Seeing these kids in Carbondale High School, it's loaded with athletes, and, trying to get them away from the streets right now. There's a lot of temptations out there. They really don't have a great home life. Here's a chance to make some quick money to help out the family situation. They don't realize that football can offer them a better opportunity than the streets can. A chance at an education to improve their life, to improve their situation. So that's what I'm really focusing on doing right now. I mean, I'm walking in the hallways and I see kids that are 6'3", 6'4", 250 pounds that aren't playing football. And I'm thinking to myself, why? Why not? And, I question them and, they tell me, hey, I'll think about it or I'll come out. I'm trying to do that right now. I'm starting to have some success in getting some kids in the weight room right now that haven't been up in there, and just getting them to buy into what I'm trying to get them to do, and realizing that this is a great opportunity for them.
Great opportunity for you taking over as head coach. Of course, Carbondale has had some success in recent years, and of course, you've been a part of that success. A couple of playoff berths in last year, especially last year. What will your plans be for the off season as you head into that big first game in August against Murfreesboro?
Well, the first thing is trying to get our freshman team put together. In the past, a school our size, when we only have 13 kids out in our freshman level, that's a concern for me. So our numbers at the freshman levels is a number one priority. We've got a lot of kids involved in spring sports, baseball and track. I've talked with them. I understand that they've got their commitments going. But the kids that aren't involved in sports right now, getting them in the weight room right off the bat, starting conditioning. If we have a summer that was as extreme as this past winter, we better be in shape. I'm thinking that first game against Murfreesboro, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 105 degrees out, so we've got to be in shape.
Looking at your schedule, we're looking back at last year's, of course. At Murfreesboro, you open up Heron, Waterloo. The South 7, we know how tough it is. I think you end with Harrisburg. Any changes to your non-conference, and what are your thoughts on the South 7 this year?
There is not an easy game on our schedule. The South 7's loaded. I look at the success Mount Vernon had last year, Marion year in and year out, Altoff. I mean, half those kids last year that were playing for them at the end of the season were freshmen. And they're just loaded with talent. Cahokia is going to be reloaded, Centralia, and like our non-conference games, everybody's better. Heron's going to be extremely good this year. So there's really not a game you can say, wow, here's a game we can win. We want to win them all, but, there's so many tough teams in our conference and our non-conference schedule. So, our kids got to be prepared for this. So that's our number one goal is getting them ready for the grueling schedule that we have.
Looking at the rest of the way, as you go into this, are you going to put on the pads and show them how to do it and say, hey, I'm pretty good at this, I was pretty good, or are you going to let the kids have the pads on this year?
The kids are going to have the pads. I'm too old for that. My time's over. My wife and I ran a half marathon. I'm still hurting from that, and that was 3 weeks ago. So my playing days are long gone now. So, I'm looking at these kids, and, they're ready to go. They know all about the tackling and the hard work that's going to take this summer, and so I'm done. My playing days are over.
Coach, I know it's still pretty early in the process, but have you been able to map out your coaching staff at all?
Yes, I have. I've got about 7 guys on board right now, which is huge in April. If it was July and I had 7, I'd be like, oh boy, I better get after it. But there's a lot of people that have already been up there. They've seen the kids are familiar with them, so that's huge right now. Just the familiarity with these coaches. So that's helping us out a lot right now.
Final question for you is our Saturday morning Talk Sports social media question of the week. And you'll get used to this as we have you on during the summer and, of course, in the fall. And this week's question is, what was the last movie you watched?
The last movie that I watched? Actually, to tell you the truth, on my way over here, I'm in Marion right now. I had to take my kid to gym class. He had Frozen on in the back. So Frozen is the last movie that I watched.
You and Scott Gamber have just broke Frozen on our question. He just was on before you and also said Frozen. That's awesome.
So do you have all of the dialogue and song lyrics memorized now? Is this one you've had to pop in frequently?
Not yet, but I guarantee by the end of the week I'll be singing all these songs. So.
Outstanding. Coach, we look forward to talking again maybe in the summer and again in the fall. Congratulations on the hire at Carbondale.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. That's Mark Albertini, new head coach, Carbondale Terriers football. And you get the impression, 10 years as an assistant, that some stability back into the program. Of course, Fred Hines, coach for quite a few years, Dan Custer for 5 or so, Nick Hill last year. And 3 coaches in 3 years, but you get the impression that Mark Albertini is going to be invested in the program and not looking to go anywhere or anything of that nature. So we wish him the best of luck, and we'll see them, of course, coming up in 2014. I believe we go down there this coming year.
Yes, we go to Carbondale this year. Mm-hmm.
Even numbered years at Carbondale. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to making the trek. Looking forward to talking to our next guest. He is the new head coach of Cessford, Waltonville Woodlawn football, Mike McKee. But before that, we're going to come back and give you our answers to the Saturday Sports Show. The WMIX Sports question, social media. Yeah, now we're both struggling.
Back at you.
That's what I get for making fun
snickering.
of you. So I get for making fun of you. The WMIX Sports social media question of the week, of course. It's on Facebook, facebook.com/WMIX Sports. What movie did you last watch? Doesn't have to be in the theater. Keep that in mind. We'll take a quick break. We're back after these.
You need a great quality new-to-you vehicle. There's a reason why Second Chance Auto has been helping put families into affordable, dependable vehicles for over 34 years. Honest, fair deals. Ain't nothing fancy, just great vehicles with warranties and bank rate financing for all. That's the only way Second Chance Auto will do business. They're receiving new vehicles every day. So be sure to stop by and find out how you can save thousands on the total cost of your vehicle. Helping people get a great, dependable vehicle for over 34 years. Second Chance Auto, Route 142 East in Mount Vernon. Call 244-4518.
If you can't pick us up where you live, move. This is WMIX, Mount Vernon, Marion, another Withers broadcasting station.
Women's healthcare just got closer to home, right here in Salem. St. Mary's Good Samaritan Women's Healthcare and OBGYNs Dr. Deborah Carson, Dr. Doug Combs, Dr. Jamie Plett, Dr. Elizabeth Byron-Nolan, and Dr. Michael Schifano are seeing patients every Tuesday at the Salem Family Health Center. That means you'll have a full range of OBGYN services close to home, including prenatal and wellness checks, incontinence treatment, and family planning options for when your family's complete. Plus, access to state-of-the-art Da Vinci robotic surgery for quicker recovery and less pain after hysterectomy. Ladies, your health is important. So why not get OBGYN care right here, close to home, by St. Mary's Good Samaritan Women's Health Care? Call 1-877-456-2496 to make your appointment. That's 1-877-456-2496.
Hi, this is Joe David Cummins, President of Community First Bank. Now is a great time to move your account to Community First Bank. With our new One account offering the highest interest rate in the market, free checking, and CD specials delivered by people you know and trust, why would you not bank with the market leader in Jefferson County? We offer 5 locations with 7 ATMs and have been serving the Jefferson County market since 1906. Stop in and see why our bank is the fastest growing bank in Jefferson County. Community First Bank. Welcome back to Personal Banking. Member FDIC.
Welcome back, Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. Social media question of the week. What is your, not favorite movie, but what is the movie you last watched?
Divergent.
DVD, theater, TV, I don't care, DVR.
No.
Maybe a movie on the radio, who knows?
The studio, in the movie
You're not
theater.
watching that, though.
Huh?
Divergent for you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know who's in that or what that's about. I forgot. Who's in that?
It's a fake Chicago, and they're divided into 5 groups, and once you make your pick when you're a certain age, you have to go in that group, and it's Ashley Judd's in it.
Sold.
She makes an appearance.
Sold.
Kentucky gal. We're all about that now.
Sold.
Back in the game now.
Yeah, I'll go. We'll see that.
2014-15 basketball season just got real yesterday. So.
Yeah, it did. Of course, I'm always
love
been an
twins.
Ashley Judd guy. Can't help that. So mine would be Anchorman 2. I watched it on demand a while back. Don't remember if that's before or after my Switch. So there we go.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Lethal Weapon 3 for Crow I saw on Facebook.
There's a lot of answers. Frozen.
You're going to get a lot of Frozen. I guarantee you, if he hasn't already, our boy Chip Jamerson says Frozen.
Philomena.
What's that?
You can ask later. Sandlot.
Oh, is that who it's from?
Yeah. Mud. 42. Gladiator.
Mud. Is that
Hunger
bats?
Games.
Probably.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Participate in the discussion, Facebook.com/WMIX Sports, or tweet us your answers. We'll put it on Facebook for you. We'll do that as a free service from Withers Broadcasting at WMIX Sports on the Twitterverse. Our next guest, Mike McKee, Sesterville, Waltonville, Woodlawn Football, new head coach. We'll talk to him after the break here on the Saturday Sports Show, cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Registration for summer classes at Rindley College is going on now. The 8-week summer term is a great chance to catch up on classes you need, from general education to electives and more. Curious about starting college or even a little nervous? Summer is a good time for new students to find out what Rindley College can do for you. Registration for summer classes continues through June 6th. Call us at 618-437-5321 or find us online at rlc.edu. Rindley College, your journey starts here.
The health of your kidneys has a big impact on your overall health, affecting everything from your blood pressure to your bones. And if you ever have a kidney problem, Dr. Kangura is here to help. Dr. Kangura trained at the Mayo Clinic and specializes in conditions ranging from kidney stones and uncontrolled high blood pressure to chronic kidney disease. Dr. Kangura sees patients at Crossroads Specialty Clinic. For an appointment, call 618-241-9071.
WMIX, WMIXSports.com. That's where you find the Saturday Sports Show. Starts each and every week. Just about, anyway, each and every week.
Well, we're covering games.
We were working last week.
We got work,
can't help
too.
it. It's presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
That's Danny Zerwinski. I'm Chris Hugo. Jeff Crow is in studio with us as well. We welcome Mike McKee. He is the new head coach, Sesterville, Waltonville, Woodlawn Football Co-op. Coach, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys doing today?
You know what, we're doing very well, and of course we are very privileged to be able to have you on today. Of course, just named this week as a new head football coach at SVWW, and great hire from what we've read, and we tend to agree that some enthusiasm brought to the program. You were on staff, and certainly seems to be a great opportunity for you to guide the Red Devils.
Oh, I am tremendously excited. I've been a member of this community for 10 years, and my kids go to school here. My wife teaches here, and I've been part of the Woodlawn and Waltonville communities for a long time, and just excited to serve these kids.
Now, talk about your connection. Of course, you went to Mount Vernon High School. Talk about, to kind of catch our listeners up on, you went to Mount Vernon High School. From there, where'd you go, and how'd you end up here at Cesar-Valere?
Graduated from Mount Vernon High School in 1996. I got recruited out of high school by Houston Nutt down to Murray State. Was at Murray State for a couple years, and then transferred up to Eastern Illinois University, where I spent a couple more years. And then when I finished up there, I got the opportunity to play a couple years of arena football. And after that, I came back home, got married, and got the opportunity to work at Rim Lake College in track and field under Coach Brent McClain. And then just a few years back, Johnny asked me if I would join his staff here in Cesar, and served with him there. And now I've gotten this opportunity to go ahead and hopefully lead the program.
You're going to lead the program this fall onto the field in the black diamond. I know it's early in the process, being newly hired. What do you see as plans for the off season, and how's your hiring of your coaching staff going as well?
Oh, the staff is great. I'm fortunate enough to, a lot of those guys are going to stay around with us. A lot of those guys are going to be doing new things. We've really evaluated what their strengths are within the program. They're all enthusiastic about it, which I'm thankful for. The kids are familiar with them. I'm also really excited because we've been able to bring in some new faces that I think are going to energize the kids. Some of those are younger guys that are new to the Cesar program, but not new to sports and new to coaching. And the good thing about them is I know their hearts. I know that they're in it for the kids. I know that they're great teachers. So that I'm really looking forward to. We're going to continue progressing. We've been progressing through the off season with the things that the kids have been doing. We've had great success in basketball that's instilled a lot of things in them. We've got a lot of kids playing baseball right now. And then as we move through the summer months, we're going to continue to implement things that are going to make them faster. They're going to make them mentally tougher. We're going to try to play that brand of football that's very fundamentally sound with a lot of energy. And it starts really right now.
Speaking of winning right now, the Black Diamond, of course, quality conference, usually sends 4 to 5 teams into the playoffs each year at this early stage. What are your thoughts on the Black Diamond?
Oh, the neat thing about the Black Diamond is there is a lot of athletes. There's a lot of athletes all over the schools. What's going to be key for us is finding out where we can find matchups that will go along with their athletes and try to get our kids the ball or try to match up with them defensively in a way that we can limit them. So, when you look at the Black Diamond, you know that the teams are going to play disciplined. They're going to play hard, night in and night out everywhere you go. And so we just got to be expecting that.
You're sort of in an interesting position where you have a co-op of 3 schools for your football program. Have you been able to reach out? I know that you've had familiarity, but have you been able to reach out maybe to some of these other, like Woodlawn and Waltonville communities, to maybe get more kids coming out for the co-op?
Yes, I'm really excited about the co-op. I'm really excited about getting a chance to work with Woodlawn and Waltonville and bring those kids over here and actually get our kids up into their campuses occasionally. My relationship with Woodlawn and Waltonville goes a long way back. My mom taught at Woodlawn. She just retired a few years back and had been there for 35 years. So I'm familiar with the building, familiar with the kids. A lot of the parents that are parents of the kids now are kids that I feel like I kind of grew up with. Shane Mitchell, that's the athletic director and basketball coach out there now, I kind of joked with him the other day. It's really a neat opportunity for me to get to sit with him at times because he was almost like a hero in our household because of the kind of person he is and the kind of leader he is now. So I'm really excited to get into those schools.
Well, we know you have an in at Woodlawn Grade School because your former math teacher is the principal there. So you've kind of got an in if you did well and did what you're supposed to back in the day, right?
That's right. That's exactly right.
Hey, I got to ask this. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty and the most important thing. I know SVWW football is important, but how's my guy Romo doing? Am I going to have a shot at the playoffs this year? What's going on?
Hey, he's back early. He's already doing the OTAs. He's working with the team, and I think the biggest thing for him is this off season. He had a new baby just a couple weeks ago. He's got his second baby boy, and as you know, whenever you have children in the mix, it really fine tunes your focus, and it really brings more things in line with the ultimate goal there. And so it kind of rubs out some of the things that you may have done in the past. So now with 2 babies, married, he's back in workouts. He's focused. I'm certain he'll be better than ever. He always is. After setbacks, he always comes back stronger.
I know that, and I've been following him, obviously, since the beginning of Bill Parcells sticking him in, but that's good news to hear, because if I go into St. Louis in September, I don't like walking out of that dome with my head down. I've done it once. I don't want to do it again. That's my problem. Hey, final question for you. Now, we got to tell everybody, because it's your first time, we let you know what the question is. So we've told your athletic director the next time you're on, because we're going to have you on the summer, and we're going to have you on every Saturday morning during the football season, because we have a lot of people from Waltonville, Woodlawn, and Cecil-Lear that like to listen and want to know about Red Devils football. So this time only, we'll give you the question. We already did, so you can answer it. Now, the next time, we told Coach Basso what the stipulations are to get it from now on. So anyway, our question is, what was the last movie you watched?
The last movie I watched was Frozen, and not only have I watched it once, I think I've seen it about 50 times. We just got back from a week trip for spring break, and that was on continual play in the DVD player in the car. So Frozen was the last movie I watched. I've got an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, and we've got that one on replay.
And you have all the songs memorized, right?
If you ask my wife, I know my own words to the songs.
Nice. You're not going to belt out "Let It Go" for us, are you?
No.
Coach, congratulations on the hire. Again, as Danny said, we look forward to talking to you over the summer, and from late August until hopefully late November, you're ours every week. So good luck this coming season. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your time, and thanks for supporting our program.
You betcha. That's Mike McKee, Mount Vernon native, of course, as you heard, and a lot of ties. I mean, DC, obviously DC knew that ahead of time, but played here at Mount Vernon, the Murray State connection, then played with Romo at Eastern, and went on to the Arena League and coached track at Rend Lake, and now fast forward is he head football coach, Cecil-Lear, Waltonville, Woodlawn, of course, the Woodlawn connection with his mom being a teacher, all of that. So we're looking forward to it, and it should be a great opportunity for Red Devil football. Another great guest coming up. It'll be Rod Schertz. He is the head coach of Benton Running Rangers Track and Field. We'll talk with him after a quick break here on the Saturday Sports Show. It's cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
I'm Jeremy Pearson with a look at your next rad weather. It will be partly to mostly sunny, pleasant, and warmer today, high 79. We'll see some clouds tonight, low 53 to 57. Breezy tomorrow with variable cloudiness and a shower thunderstorm in the afternoon, high 79. And thunderstorms will be around tomorrow night into Monday with variable cloudiness. Low tomorrow night 62, high Monday 81. Next rad weather from WMIX, Mount Vernon, Illinois.
How can we keep the people we love safe and secure in their own home? Let the Medicine Shop's home medical equipment team help you with all your mobility and specialty product needs. They provide mobility products like motorized scooters, wheelchairs, and home stair lifts. The Medicine Shop's expertly trained staff can also provide car and van lift installations, and they offer a full service repair facility for medical equipment, whether you purchased it from them or somewhere else. Here's pharmacist and pharmacy owner Eric Black.
We service a 60-mile radius area, so a pretty wide area. We service orders from several area hospitals, and we have the staff in place that really sets us apart. We have 3 respiratory therapists and 2 seating specialists to help with seating on wheelchair and power chair needs. And we just feel that we have the staff and the warehousing and the facilities in place to really set us apart from any of our competitors in the area.
The Medicine Shop Pharmacy, 2339 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
America is a nation on wheels. Everyone has at least one automobile. We use them for shopping, work, everything we do. But they can be a threat. Some accidents can't be prevented. Your professional Pekin Insurance Agency, Page Insurance on Crownview in Mount Vernon, can help protect you from a large financial loss when an accident happens. Call Page Insurance today at 242-7000 about low-cost auto insurance from Pekin Insurance. Ask them about the many money-saving discounts that are available. Depend on your hometown professionals.
Pekin Insurance.
Welcome back. Saturday Sports Show, WMIX and WMIXSports.com. It's cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
SDC, I'm Hugo. Glad to be here with you today until 10 o'clock. Jeff Crow with us as well. Our next guest is the head coach of the Benton Renan Rangers track and field program on the boys' side. He's Rod Schertz. Coach, got to ask right out of the gate before I tell you good morning. Have you gotten back from Sparta yet?
Good morning, guys. Glad to be on the show. And yes, we got back from Sparta. Gosh, late last night, about 11:30, and it was a good night for track and field. It was one of the better nights there. Buzz Bradley, track and Sparta, and we've been there when it snowed and it's rained and it's tornado warning and everything else. But last night was a really nice night.
Speaking of Benton Rangers track, give us a rundown. I saw the freshmen, sophomores won, I think, the Franklin County track meet a week or so ago. Give us a rundown on Rangers track this year.
Good group of kids. We have about 27 in our program. Primarily, we're a younger bunch. We have some kids that we've mixed in at the junior and senior level that have really done well for us and have competed well. They've not had a lot of track and field experience, but they're athletes, and we hope that we can teach them a little bit and bring them along. But primarily, our strength is with our younger kids. That was exciting for them to have some success last Wednesday night to win the county meet. But you throw in a mix of our juniors and seniors, and there's 3 or 4 kids on the senior level. Alex Gerald's in the hurdle races has been very competitive all year long for us. Hunter Foltz, who was first-year track, was a 39-foot triple jumper here recently and 5'11" in the high jump. And then I'm really proud of some of our younger kids that stepped up. Jesse Van Horbeck jumped over 20 feet last night, and we had a group of freshman, sophomore sprinters that are doing extremely well. So excited with this bunch. They are learning. The weather's been more conducive to track and field recently, so we're outside and we're not battling the elements like we did earlier. And it's just been a joy to work with these kids and our coaches. And as the next few weeks approach, we're going to get really into the thick of things. We're just a couple of weeks away from our conference, and we host the conference this year on May the 15th. And prior to that, a week earlier, we host our annual Chuck Euler Invitational. So back-to-back meets, solid, strong competition, and we're looking forward to hosting those meets and looking forward to running against a great competition.
Speaking of meets and hosting, you guys have made, your facility was pretty good already, but now you've added a whole bunch of new bleachers and renovation. Talk about that and the attraction of how hosting postseason as well as regular season meets there at Benton Middle School.
It's been really a blessing to have those bleachers put in, press box, nice sound system, and most importantly, a lot of our concession stand, Danny, was donated material and donated labor. We have running water, a nice concession area, storage back there, and we're away from the porta potties now, so that makes it very good for the fans that come to watch the kids compete. And it's just a different look out there right now, and it's been something that's been very good for the community and really good for our elementary and junior high and high school track and field programs.
And it's got to be good to see that because as little kids out there at Benton School and Benton Elementary and middle school and junior high, they see that and they want to do that with the success of your track program. As you look down the road, Benton track will get to run in a regional with the likes of Heron, Mount Vernon, and otherwise. Is there? I know it's running against bigger schools, but is the time coming where maybe some change or amending to how track is divvied up needs to be done to get things more on a level playing field?
We've talked about this in the last year or so, and I know you've probably spoken with Coach Sloan about it in the girls program. It just makes it tough. I mean, I don't think we're a school that's afraid to get out and compete against the larger schools. We love going to Centralia over there and running their invitational. But, we kind of look at it this way. We're a school of about 560 enrollment, and if we can get, Danny, 5 boys per 100, that's pretty good for us. When you bump that up and compete against schools that might be 1,200, 1,300, that makes it a little different story. It's tougher, I think, to compete against the numbers that way. And track and field is a numbers game. The more kids you get out, the more opportunities you have to find kids that can run and jump and throw. I don't know what the future holds, but right now it is what it is, and we go out and just try to get better every practice, try to get better every meet. And when the sectional rolls around, we'll go to Heron, I think, this year and just put it out there and do our very best. And we get some kids to qualify, great. That would be cherry on top of the pie there, whatever you want to call it. But it makes it tougher. There's no question about it. If we want to compete at the 1A level, yeah. But we are where we're at, and we'll just make the best of the situation.
Speaking of situation, yesterday you participated in a unique meet at Sparta. One of the more traditional meets that everybody likes to look forward to, go have a boys and a girls meet. Talk about that and the results last night over at Sparta.
It's, as I said earlier, great night for track and field. Those guys host a nice meet over there. It does make it a little longer into the evening when you have a girls and boys meet combined. But great competition. Had a chance to see several records broken on the girls' side. Competed against some very good schools in the likes of Harrisburg and of course, Sparta and Waterloo and Lebanon and people of that nature over there. So it gives us an opportunity to get over in that direction, run against some schools that we normally don't run against, and get to see some of the better athletes from that area. So we enjoyed it. It's about an hour away, but it's worth the trip, and they have nice facilities and fully automatic timing. And last night they didn't do any prelims, so we got home a little earlier than we normally do. So it was a good meet. Enjoyed it.
How's our main man, the Master?
He's doing well, still plugging along at 81 years of age. I'm a little biased, but I still think he's probably one of the best starters here in the area and maybe in the state of Illinois. And Mom gets him from place to place. He does just a wonderful job, and I'm proud that he's still involved and he's still doing what he's doing.
Do we have earrings and jewelry on when we start meets, or does the IHSA make him take those off and out?
Right. If he forgets, the kids remind him, the competitor, so that's always good. But he's doing well, thanks for asking. Mom's doing as well, so that's good.
That's good. Hey, I'd ask you about the Cubs. We all know what that is. So I'm going to ask you our social media question of the week. And this week's question is, what was the last movie you watched?
Man, that's a good question. Now, I'm a little tight-fisted with my money, so I don't get out much. But I did watch Predator. You guys seen that? It's an old-school movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger in it.
Yeah.
It's got Carl Weathers.
Mm-hmm.
It opens up some Rocky movies. And Jesse the Body Ventura. All right? So you look at Arnold, he goes from what? Governor of California to now making he's dressed in some Jimmy Connors garb on some Bud Light commercial with a wig on. So he's made some progress. And I see the Body. He went from, Minnesota governor. And, he's still in the mix of things. So Carl Weathers, that was the last movie that I watched. In fact, it was last weekend. I plugged that thing in and watched it. And, it takes a lot of muscle to shoot those guns.
Hey, you've been hanging around Coach Roper too long taking on that money.
But no, that was the last movie that I've seen. I don't get out much, but the movies I watch, normally I have at home and plug them in or watch something off the tube. So.
Coach, we appreciate it. Glad to hear that you did make it back from Sparta. That it can be a long trip, and we wish the best of luck the rest of the way to the Running Rangers.
Okay, guys. Always a pleasure to talk with you. In fact, I'm going to leave you with this. It would be worth driving from Mount Vernon. We have our annual pork chop sandwich ticket sales today. So we're selling chops and chips and water. It's our annual fundraiser up here at the Benton Public Square, and for $5 you can get a great pork chop sandwich and chips and water. So I encourage anybody out there that's driving through Benton, 11 o'clock to 1:30, stop through. We're on the square, and I don't think you'd be disappointed.
Is this for boys and girls or just boys?
Just the boys.
Nice. I was going to say, I don't think you can get Andy Sloan out of bed that early to start preparing for a pork chop
He was
fundraiser.
out of Marion last night, so he may have had a late night himself.
Coach, we appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. That's Rod Schertz. And, of course, on the public square in Benton, don't have to worry about getting around it. Just get there to get yourself pork chops. Of course, $5, chips, water included, 11 to 130. So, well worth it. Certainly need to help athletics and activities in every community, not just your own, wherever you may be. I guarantee you those will be great pork chops. We need to take a break. When we come back from the Belleville News-Democrat, we'll have Norm Sanders on to talk maybe some Metro East baseball, but probably some Blues hockey. This is a Saturday Sports Show presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
This is your local State Farm agent, Tony Wilt. I want to thank Mount Vernon and the surrounding area for continuing to support us over the past 5 years. If you have never sat down with someone to go over your insurance program, let me invite you into our office. Let us show you what working with the industry leader, represented by a local agent, can do for you. I'm located just off 42nd Street. You can reach our office 24 hours a day at 242-1421 or on the web at tonywilt.com. Thanks again, and go Rams.
Hi, Roy Schmidt, Ford Lincoln dealer at Ford Square, Mount Vernon. Construction, heavy hauling, emergency vehicles, agriculture, forestry, utility services. Within these and countless other essential industries, the guys and gals who do the toughest work count on one heavy-duty truck more than any other, the Ford F-Series Super Duty. Day in and day out, built Ford tough. Diesel and gas powertrains enable F-Series Super Duties to pump out plenty of horsepower and torque, along with great fuel economy. At Ford Square, we have cash-back incentives up to $5,500 on F Super Duties and a great selection right now. Come see one of our sales associates at Ford Square, 1501 Broadway in Mount Vernon, Illinois, where the best never rest. And you can also view all of our inventory, new and pre-owned, at fordsquare.com.
Welcome back, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. Chris Hugo with Danny Zerwinski, Jeff Crow in studio with us as well. Powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Our next guest is from the Belleville News-Democrat. He is Norm Sanders, of course, beat writer for St. Louis Blues hockey. Also happens to be a warrior of a certain route over there in the Metro East. Norm, good morning.
How's it going, guys?
You know what it's going. I think we're all a little in a state of dismay after last night. But before we touch on that, just so we say we did, have you been able to see any Metro East baseball?
Yeah, the weather has kind of, worked against that at times, but from what I've seen, it's looking like there's a few surprise teams, some teams we knew would be good, and, the usual suspects. We got, I really like Edwardsville. They lost quite a bit off last year's team. They're 18-3. They're leading the Southwestern Conference, and they were a team that coming into the season, actually, people were talking about O'Fallon and Collinsville having a lot back. And Edwardsville has definitely jumped up there and gotten everybody's attention.
Speaking of Edwardsville, Mike Waldo, Coach Waldo, he's been up there as far as, coaching basketball, known for his basketball. He's been involved with over 1,000 baseball wins as pitching coach. I mean, that is an amazing thing you and I talked about here about a week or so ago. How awesome is that?
Yeah, you just don't see things like that. I mean, the guy was actually coaching when I was still in high school. I believe he started in 1979. As a grad assistant or student assistant coach when he was just out of college. So to think one guy has had a hand in 1,000 wins, and he definitely does. He's the best pitching coach in maybe the state, but guaranteed, anywhere south of Chicago. And the work that he does with pitchers, he's able to win with hard throwers, soft throwers, tall guys, short guys, righties, lefties. It doesn't matter. You could look at a guy and say, yeah, Waldo coached him. I mean, he's that good, and he's just kept turning them out over the years, and then you add in his 600-plus wins as a head basketball coach at Edwardsville and state tournament trips and things like that, a couple state baseball titles. He has put together quite a career.
Quite a career, and one of the things, too, we're talking about, we've seen this team a couple of times, is Belleville Altoff, a 2A school baseball-wise that has played very well this season, have swept the Mount Vernon Rams, kind of in the lead for the South 7 Conference. That's a team to kind of watch again, we say this again, when 2A comes around for postseason.
Yeah, they're 15-4 now. They're 4-1 in the conference, and they were kind of a question mark team. I wasn't sure they'd have enough offense or pitching to where they'd really, really be good, and things have broken well for them. They've
they've gotten on top of some games. They have a pretty good senior group, and I think that's carried them. Now, what's going to be interesting is to see how they survive in a Nashville Regional 2A that includes like almost every good team in the area, outside of Carlisle and a handful of others. So it'll be a war. I believe that Althoff, Freeburg, Nashville, defending state champion Jabot is in there, Dupo's in there. I mean, it's like the IHSA just did one of their usual things where they sit there and laugh at each other and write it down on paper and say, hey, let's try this, and let's see how many teams we can mess up down in Southern Illinois, and they got it done again.
Of course, the conference we concern ourselves with, just because it seems like every year you see a South 7 Mississippi Valley sectional final. The Mississippi Valley Conference, of course, we've seen Waterloo. We'll see Triad coming. We've seen we won't see Muscuda now, but who have we seen? I saw Civic Memorial. Right. We'll see Highland as well. Basically, everybody we will see except for Jerseyville. Who seems to be the predominant team in the conference right now? Is it Highland?
I still like Muscuda. They had the most back. They are 3-0 in the conference and 16-2 overall. They got the Southern Illinois Carbondale recruit and Ryan Nedemeyer, who's 5-0 on the mound, and he's also one of their best hitters. They were the team with the most back, the team that everybody kind of pointed to, and you figure if they get off to a good start, they take off, and they kind of have done that. But saying that I've seen Waterloo, and they have as good a pitching as anyone around. They're 9-4, they're 3-1 in the conference, and Highland right behind at 2-1 and 10-5 overall. So, like usual, I mean, nothing's decided in that conference or the Southwestern until the final week of the season. And I just, it's such a good brand of baseball that we're lucky enough to see in this area. And these teams they beat on each other, they beat up on each other all the time. And these regionals and the playoff thing are such a treat to watch if you're a baseball fan, because these coaches are just so competitive. The players are competitive. Everybody grows up with rivals built in, and then then regional rivals. I know, but with Mount Vernon's baseball program being so good now, teams in our area look forward to playing them, and a lot of them have added them to their schedule. So it's a great baseball area, and if you're a fan, I urge anyone to get out. You can watch darn near any games around here, and it's competitive.
You can follow Norm Sanders on Twitter at Norm Sanders. Great follow for not only high school sports in the Metro East area, but also what we're going to get to now, the elephant in the room, St. Louis Blues hockey.
Yeah.
And Chris and I were in contact last night up until the point of the overtime goal. I'm like, I don't know about you, but I'm shaking my head going, what has happened in the last 3 games? That's the number one thing.
Well, if you remember the 2013 playoffs, they're kind of playing themselves out again right before our eyes, right down to who scores the winning goals. The shutout came at the exact same time as it did against the Kings. There's been 4 overtime games in 5 games. That's already tied the Blues franchise record for that. I mean, literally every game could have been won by either team. You could have seen a sweep by either team at this point, and it's just been electrifying hockey. And this is a Stanley Cup Finals worthy series in the first round, which rarely happens. And if you talk to anyone around the league, and we have talked to media, talked to people that have called us, it's like this is by far the best first round series. And I mean, you're just on the edge of your seat from the opening drop of the puck till usually when it goes to overtime, and then you're not sure what's going to happen. But it's been some interesting hockey. The Blues have had plenty of chances to get a 3-1 lead, to put this thing away, and their inability to finish, the inability to score anything on the power play, just continues to cost them, and it does it in the playoffs every year. They seem to lack enough finishers, enough. If it was a baseball term, it'd be a closer, a guy that just can come in and score the goal. They just don't have it. They have guys that can be like that. They have guys that have done it at various times, but not consistently. And Tarasenko, who had 4 goals before last night, was, he wasn't as much of a factor. Oshie was staring at an open net. Sharp, there he is. Crawford dives across and gets a piece of it. Petrangelo had chances. Jackman had chances. Backus had a chance in overtime. I mean, it's not for lack of chances, and hard work is only going to get them so far. No one's questioning their work. No one's questioning, a lot of things about their game, their drive, their work ethic, but they just need a little bit more of an elite finishing high-end scorer. maybe more than one, but they definitely need that if they're going to win in the playoffs.
The first two games especially, triple overtime, then overtime, it really seemed like things were starting to go the way of the Blue Note. And then, you see guys like Jaden Schwartz playing plus hockey. Since then, he's gone, I think, -1, -3 the other night, lest we forget the times he got trapped in the corner and you would have thought he wet the bed, leading to the I believe the tying and then the game-winning goal after those turnovers. But he's played minus hockey. It just seems like the Blues as a whole, I don't want to say have lost momentum after Backus went out, but even with Backus returning last night, it just seemed like everything was off a step or two, or a skate or two.
Yeah, and, they did get a jolt of energy from that, but, that only takes you so far. And, to let the Hawks score first again, I think the team that scored first has won every game of the series, so you fall behind and you're scratching and clawing again, and they did it. And sure enough, they managed to tie it up again. And it wouldn't be Blues Blackhawks unless everyone's sitting there in the third period wondering what the heck's going to happen. And that's the way it's been every game.
You have a unique perspective. You get to follow the Blues. You get to go to practices and games. For those listeners that don't have that or won't ever have that perspective, what's it like to follow a professional sports team with the access that you have day in and day out?
Well, I like to view myself as the guy that if the fans were in there, what would they want to know? What would they want to ask these guys? And I look at myself as the person that needs to, to tell that story. And I really don't do it any differently than I did if I was covering the high school state basketball tournament. I mean, if you're a reporter, you're trying to get that inside information. You're digging in there, trying to talk to guys and find out, what makes them tick. Why did you do this? Last night we see that the puck that Duncan Keith threw out actually went off a guy's shin pads and goes right to Taves at center ice. I mean, it's tough because you're trying to do it all on deadline, but then when you're in the locker room, it's like, they're guys that you're trying to get information from. You can't be a fan. You can't be some guy just standing there, in awe of whoever you're interviewing. It's just, you have to view it as your job, and, you got to be professional about it, and most of the guys in our business are.
Do you get that accent? One of the things I've noticed is, a lot of people have been kind of hard on Ryan Miller. I mean, top-notch elite goalie in the league. I don't think he's played that bad. I just think, the obvious look is look at the goalie, but I think he's had some tough things to deal with in this series. As like Chris mentioned, I don't think it's all Ryan Miller's fault this series so far.
Yeah, he deserves a share of the blame, but there's plenty of that to go around. I mean, whenever the goals aren't coming, people start looking at the goalie to stop everything. And then in the playoffs, one goal is just magnified by about 10. So every one he lets in looks big. Every time he doesn't stop one, that looks big. But you could point to 100 other things and say, well, why didn't the defenseman close the gap on this guy? Or why didn't Shattenkirk, run up at Patrick Kane the other night and push him outside? I mean, there's just so many factors into it. And, would I expected him to play better in the series? No doubt. I don't think he's played as well as he would like, and I don't think he's played as well as the fans would like. But, all this stuff now that comes out about, well, if they had Halak, it'd be different, or if we put Elliott in. I mean, this is why they acquired Ryan Miller. And if Ryan Miller doesn't get it done, then that's on that's on everyone. I mean, he came in to upgrade the goaltending for a playoff situation. And if they go out in the first round again, I mean, people are going to point fingers.
Is it time for a guy like Steve Ott, as they head into Game 6, maybe to not only, he continues to be stirring things up everywhere, whatever shift he's on, but is it time for him to kind of maybe waylay someone, make a big hit, get something going, or somebody else in a Blue Note sweater to get something going like that in Game 6 to kind of keep, get some kind of momentum somewhere on the ice?
I think the best momentum they can get at this point is just to score goals and to get on top and play, more of an aggressive forecheck style. They've kind of gotten in trouble a couple times in the series where they've tried to mix it up like that. And, Chicago's got too much talent. And, you hit somebody, you put them on the power play with Kane and Taves, and that's usually not a good recipe. So, everybody likes that revenge style and hit their guy because they hit our guy. But in the playoffs, it's almost more important to keep your composure and to just, for the Blues especially, they just have to get more offense. And if they don't, they're going to be cleaning out those lockers in a few days.
Speaking of that, let's look at any other series in the league. Obviously, this is the best one. Any other series you've kind of had an eye on in the first round, or is it just all business with this one?
I've basically really paid attention to this one, but just looking around the league, I've been surprised that, teams like Columbus that, have given Pittsburgh fits, and, just so many, it seems like the home teams are winning a lot. I don't know, there's something about playoff hockey that, it's like another step above. I know we say that every year, but, it's like every game is interesting from start to finish, and it's that way all around the league. And people that aren't hockey fans or who haven't been to a game live, I mean, sometimes the TV doesn't do it justice. If you're in a building like Scott Trade Center last night when David Backett was introduced, and after missing 2 games, and he comes out for innings, it's just like blow the roof off the place. And there's going to be like that in Chicago on Sunday. They got a chance to close it out. They're the defending Cup champs playing at home. That place is just going to go nuts.
Hey, speaking of that, I was reading last night on Twitter and some of the stuff that you write. You talk about the atmosphere, and if you've never been to a game like that, I mean, if for some reason the Blues don't pull this series out, what do you think is the future as we sit here heading into Game 6 if the Blues do not pull this series out?
Well, the immediate one is they're going to have to make a decision on Ryan Miller because he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. They gave up a lot for him. They're going to have to decide whether they want to keep him or move him, and if they move him, then what do they do for a goalie? I mean, they got Jake Allen in the minors. He's having another great year. They have Brian Elliott's still here, but Elliott's also going to be a free agent. That goaltending question would probably hit him right off the bat, and then they've got some decisions on some other guys to make. But they've given a lot of guys big money extensions. They've invested a lot of money in this team and jacked that payroll up right to the top of the salary cap, and if they go out in the first round, there's going to be a lot more questions than just the goaltending here. And, there's going to be questions about the coaching. There's going to be questions about the general manager. That's what happens when teams go this long without winning. And, we can ask the Cubs about that, I guess.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Hey, we got one last question for you. It's our social media question of the week. I know we got a feeling we know you can answer this. We know it's not rock music today, but what was the last movie you watched?
Last movie I watched was Capote, of all things, and it was a movie that someone else recommended, and I had no idea going in, but it actually was really, really good, and made me want to read the book that he wrote in Cold Blood, which was the movie was based on. But great performance, and it's not a movie I would typically watch, but it wasn't bad.
Was this a movie chosen based on the legacy of Philip Seymour Hoffman?
That's what it seemed like, wasn't it? He has a lot of legacy things. I mean, when he gets into a role, he gets into it, doesn't he?
No doubt about that. Sorely missed is what Philip Seymour Hoffman's going to be. Norm, appreciate it. You're following you on Twitter through WMIX Sports. I think I did on my personal account as well. Has really allowed me to get back into the game of hockey again because I'm not going to lie. I gave it up for a little while after the Gretzky turnover led to the Yzerman blue line goal in Game 7 of '96. So it's been tough for me to stomach ever since, but I'm glad to follow you on Twitter, and I'm thankful that you keep us up to date on St. Louis Blues hockey.
I was at Joe Louis Arena that night watching and covering that very game, and I saw the same turnover that you did, and that was a very winnable game for the Blues, and you look back at that and think, if they had won that, they wouldn't have had a chance to win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah. Exactly.
In typical Blues fashion, it didn't happen. So,
amen to that.
Yeah.
Norm, we appreciate it as always. Look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right, see you guys.
It's Norm Sanders, and not only a great baseball mind, I love talking Metro East baseball. And I don't want to seem like we were trying to dismiss Metro East baseball today, but hey,
how many times do you get a guy that's credentialed into a professional sports team? I mean, not just
him a lot,
going to the games. He goes to practices. He interviews the guys. He goes to games. He's in the media. He's in the post game. He's in the locker room. I mean, this is credential media. I mean, it's the guy we got access to in the NHL playoff series.
I tweeted that video from that Game 7 the other night, and admittedly, that was the first time I had watched it since that night in 1996 because I was such a rabid fan of Blues hockey at that point. Like, I watched every single game, whether it was KPLR or at that time Fox with the Fox Tracks.
Ken Wilson.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, it used to be like Saturday night, Minnesota at St. Louis, St. Louis at Minnesota, back when they were the North Stars.
Speaking of which, how about the Dallas Stars going with the former North Stars colors now?
Yeah, that worked.
Yeah, we've been inside talk, and I know we talked about it some during a game recently. We've been talking a lot off the air texting and what have you about our favorite NHL jerseys and sweaters. So that's that. But we need to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk with Russ Gerlach, new head coach at Edwards County. That leaves an opening at Wayne City. Saturday Sports Show is presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Hi, this is Joe David Cummins, President of Community First Bank. By now you have heard about our new One Checking product. The new One Account is a high interest earning, free checking account designed for everyone. Unlike other banks that pay interest on higher balance, this account pays interest on all balances. From high schoolers to Warren Buffett, One will work for you. You can talk to one of us at 244-3000 and learn about the details. One, exclusively at Community First Bank. You will be one happy customer. Member FDIC.
Whether it's Mother Nature's inability to decide on a season, a weekend that got a little out of hand, or just life, there's always something looking to damage your vehicle. This is Chase Landers from Landers Collision Centers. Maybe winter weather turned your full-size sedan into a compact, or a little hail has your truck looking like Swiss cheese. Perhaps a deer decided to go for a ride on your hood, or maybe your truck is missing its hitch and bumper after pulling your little brother out of the ditch last weekend. Did a bad breakup leave a little graffiti on your SUV? We hope not, but we've seen it all, and we certainly don't judge. Whatever mess life has created for your vehicle, we'll clean it up. As a direct repair facility for many insurance companies, we take care of just about everything, even getting you into a temporary vehicle while we restore yours. That's the Landers difference. Top to bottom, big or small, Landers fixes them all. Come see us in Mount Vernon and Salem and ask us about free detailing for the life of your vehicle. Or call 1-888-LANDERS. That's 1-888-LANDERS.
A digestive problem can affect every area of your life. But now there's a specialist right here in town who focuses on digestive health. Mayo Clinic trained Dr. Tegpal Atwal has opened the only gastroenterology clinic in Mount Vernon. Dr. Atwal treats acid reflux, gallbladder problems, inflammatory bowel disease, ulcers, and more. For your appointment with Dr. Atwal at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 618-241-9071.
Welcome back, Saturday Sports Show, WMIX.
I'm trying to.
I was wondering what you're doing over there, but were you trying to figure out what the song was?
No, I was thinking as I was typing of things I need to do.
I got
So if I close my eyes, I can block things out.
That makes sense. Anyhow, Saturday Sports Show is cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
That's what healthcare should be. Get off of me.
Sorry. Anyhow, we welcome to the program. He is now the new head coach at Edwards County for boys basketball. Russ Gerlach joins us now. Coach, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
You know, I'm doing pretty well. I know it's never easy to leave one place to go to another, but you leave Wayne City, but it's a homecoming for you as you take over the program at Edwards County. Seems like everything just worked out. You're a math teacher, if I'm not mistaken. A math opening, a coaching opening. Seemed like the right time maybe to go home?
Yes, it was. It was something that, honestly, 10 years ago, I never even thought I'd want to do. I wasn't sure if I wanted to coach in my hometown. And I know they've had some openings in the past couple of years where it was either the math opening or the coaching, or there was never both at the same time. And this year it all lined up, and I decided to give it a go, and was lucky enough to get hired.
As your career at Wayne City comes to an end here in May when school lets out, talk about some of the memories and things you'll take from there as you head over back home to Edwards County.
Well, I would say I think just overall memories in general. Just that I've loved everybody that I've worked with and coached. Over the 7 years. I've always felt like we can be proud of the way our kids have played, and the effort level. They may not always been pretty basketball, but they always worked hard and got after it. And people start talking about specific memories. We were the last team to beat Woodlawn on their way to the state title. And beat them on senior night for us. That was pretty special. Not to, I guess, just talk about the only two times we beat Woodlawn. We were able to beat them in our last Mid-South Conference game ever. That was my first year here. And then that year we won the Conrad Allen, the Christopher tournament. And so those other years we may not have had a tournament title or whatever, but there's always those big wins. Or to me, it's always the wins against the teams that probably you shouldn't have beat that stick out the most.
Speaking of that, you change over, you go from the Midland Trail Conference to the Black Diamond eventually. Edwards County will move into the Black Diamond eventually in your tenure. That has to be exciting to jump into a new 4A like that.
Absolutely. I was telling some people the other day that, that one of the hardest things about this job is, I don't know anything about any of our conference schools. I worked at Flora, before I came here, so I know a little bit about them, but I guess I really don't know much about them now. And, so once I get to where I kind of learn all the coaches and the teams and the LIC, then I'm going to have to switch over and start learning them all over again, the Black Diamond. But, I think the community as a whole is excited about the change. We're still not going to be the biggest school in the conference, but we're definitely going to be closer in size, and I think it's going to be a good move for us, in all sports. And I think everything is pretty exciting in general with the move and all the stuff that's happening, but that's definitely another exciting part.
Well, always exciting to be able to go back home and do what you're getting ready to do. And of course, leaving Wayne City for Edwards County. And do you think the fact of you being from there and knowing what the program has been through recently and knowing the history of the program, I don't know if numbers have ever necessarily been a problem, but maybe bringing some stability back to the fold there in Albion, you think that'll help get you more players and be able to develop your system there in Albion?
Well, absolutely. I'm friends with, the junior high coaches. I know them both. I really think that we can start getting it to where in 5th grade they start learning things that I'm going to want them to do when they get, to 9th grade through 12th grade. I think that's going to be a big thing. I told them when I interviewed, I'm 38. I've got at least 20 years, if not more, of teaching. And as of right now, I want to coach those whole 20 years as well. So, I'd like to think that I'm going to hopefully be the longest tenured coach in history there. And hopefully we can, like you said, bring some stability. Like I said a little bit ago, I want to get to the point to where when kids come in as a freshman, they already have an idea of, what we're going to do offensively and defensively. They're already going to know some of the drills. And that just, gets us ahead of some of the other programs where there's not as much, continuity from junior high to high school.
Important to build that from top to bottom as you move over to Edwards County. And, as you look at the schedule they have now in the year, probably next couple of years, you looking to change it, or do you kind of like where things are, especially non-conference-wise?
Well, yeah, you're right. The conference schedule for the next 2 years is pretty much set. The non-conference games is really a bunch of NTC schools that I already know something about, so that's kind of a positive there. The tournaments are, they have the conference tournament and then the Grayville and back here at the Conard Allen. Once again, I know quite a bit about most of those schools, so, that's pretty much set for the next 2 years, and I don't think we're going to make a whole lot of changes there. But then once we get to the Black Diamond, we will lose the conference tournament. So, I've already kind of started looking ahead to see if we want to pick up 2 more regular season games, or if there is a Christmas or midwinter tournament we can get into where we wouldn't be playing people we already are. I know Carmi has their midwinter, and that's fairly close, but we will already be playing Carmi and Fairfield twice a year anyway. So I'd like to avoid jumping into that one. So, some of those things, luckily we don't have to make those decisions real quick, but, I am kind of looking, to the future to try to figure out what we want to do with those.
Speaking of decisions real quick, let's get to the real stuff for next basketball season. You, like I, had a little happiness celebrating yesterday. It seems like our basketball season next year might be a little more interesting than what you and I thought about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Well, talking about the Harrison twins in general there in Kentucky, I think really those 2 guys are going to be almost somebody I can use as an example, as a coach. When those 2 guys quit worrying about themselves and started worrying about the team, obviously the team took off, but their play in general got a lot better. And, if you can, that's something that, Coach Cal talks a lot about. If you worry about the team more than you worry about yourself, good things are going to happen to everybody. And, I think that's a lesson to players in general at any sport, at any school is, if you're worried about your own numbers, you're going to suffer, and obviously the team is too. And I go back to the championship team. The top 2 draft picks, Kid Gilchrist and Anthony Davis, took the least amount of shots. So, you don't have to be selfish and jack up a lot of shots to get a lot of attention.
Well, I like you, very excited to see what has returned, and obviously part of that was not winning a national title this year. But we're excited for that. We're excited for you at Edwards County. But before we leave you, we need to ask you our social media question of the week. And this week's question's pretty easy. What was the last movie you watched?
Well, don't watch a lot of movies here at the house. So the last movie that we went and saw, my son Max and I went and saw Captain America a couple weeks ago, and we really enjoyed it.
Oh, that's a good change. I thought Frozen was coming out, and I thought, what?
No, not from what I've seen on Twitter. There's no way
not
it's
from
gonna be
Twitter.
Frozen.
No, I've not seen Frozen. They've seen it, and then they laughed and they told me all about it. But no, I have not sat down and watched Frozen yet.
How's our main man Max doing this morning? What's he up to?
Well, for some reason, he was determined that he was going to get a can of spray paint out and spray paint something. And luckily, my wife got him shut down and gave him some finger paint stuff. And I don't know, he's got some piece of wood out in the yard. He's painting pictures. They both are right now. Him and Clyde both. I think they've covered themselves more than they have the board, but at least it's washable.
That's awesome. Coach, best of luck in your
It's a little
transition.
early in the year, but we may just have to hose them off before we let them back in.
No, I say let him back in. Let him change the decor in the house. Why not?
Yeah.
Well, we're trying to sell it. We don't need to.
That's true.
We don't need just paint blotches all over the place.
Best of luck with your transition. We look forward to talking to you multiple times next season as the head coach of the Edwards County Lions. Best of luck to you.
I appreciate that I talking to you, and I appreciate all the support you guys gave us and attention whenever I was at Wayne City. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. That is Russ Gerlach, head coach now, the Edwards County Lions basketball. And he's right. That's been an awkward kind of thing there. The coaching opening not open at the same time as math teacher. Bob Bowser was occupying that space, a good friend of the program for a long time, before he got into administration and then just never opened at the same time. We need to take a quick break here on the Saturday Sports Show. We'll come back, and we'll wrap things up here till 10 o'clock, which isn't that far away. We're back after these.
Mount Vernon is home to many wonderful people and things, and that includes quality cardiac care from Dr. Ruzaik Ibrahim, a skilled cardiologist. Dr. Ibrahim's training and scientific accomplishments have earned his designation as a Fellow of the American College of Cardiology. His services range from preventative care to the treatment of advanced heart conditions. For an appointment with Dr. Ibrahim at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 241-9071 or visit in person at 4113 South Water Tower, Mount Vernon.
Qualifications and rules apply. See institution for details.
Bill, where are we going? We're trying to find my ATM.
We just passed an ATM.
But that's not my ATM. I lose $4 if it's not my ATM.
Make any ATM your ATM. Introducing free Kasasa Checking with monthly rewards like cash and ATM fees back in your pocket. Visit trykasasa.com. KASASA.
Visit People's National Bank or peoplesnationalbank.com for your Kasasa checking. Member FDIC.
Welcome back. Saturday Sports Show. WMIX, WMIXSports.com is cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Here with you for the next couple of minutes until 10 o'clock. So glad you accessed our broadcast today. You can follow us on Twitter at WMIX Sports. We're on Facebook as well. Social media question of the week. What was the last movie that you watched? Again, you don't have to go to the theater to watch a movie. You can watch it at home, maybe an old VHS tape of an old... Well, that's not a game, would not be a movie, but I think you get what I'm saying here. It doesn't matter where you watched it. We just want to know what was the last movie that you watched. Busy week coming up, or busy stretch of weeks coming up for us. The Mount Vernon Rams and the Lady Rams, of course, will be blessed to be able to do a game next Sunday from Busch Stadium, as the Rams will take on Clinton. Before that, they have Alton at GCS Park on Monday, weather permitting. Tuesday, the Lady Rams, of course, will have Marion. Wednesday, it's Heron Boys Baseball against your Mount Vernon Rams. Thursday, at Marion, of course, for Boys Baseball. Friday, I don't think anything Friday or Saturday.
There's nothing this weekend. Then it starts. Sunday is Clinton at Busch. Never mind. That was kind of a presidential reference.
It was.
Monday is Murphy at SIU at 5 o'clock. I didn't really mean to. The 6th is at Carbondale. The 7th is...
There's something the 7th.
Can you turn around and look? How about that? Let's try that.
No, I can't.
7th is baseball home versus Koki on Wednesday. Thursday, we have Lady Rams softball against Benton at home. And then Friday, Saturday is Triad Invitational for the Lady Rams. So,
and the pairing's not released yet, so no, we're not slacking.
Still not early. Still too early for that.
They're going to...
They changed. Just ask Lance Bolt at West Frankfort. They changed.
Falkenberg is going to email that to me as soon as it's done. He always takes care of us. here at WMIX Sports. Hope you thought well the broadcast today. We had a lot of fun today. Not that we don't always have fun, but just especially fun with the mix of guests we were able to bring you today. We do it every week here from 8:08 until 10 o'clock on WMIX Mount Vernon, a free service from Withers Broadcasting. Thank you for accessing the Saturday Sports Show. Have the archive up on WMIXsports.com a little bit later, but for now, here's NBC News.